A 1,400-pound wheel of cheese inside the White House? No, this isn't a joke. It actually happened. And not only was this cheese real, it became a political symbol, a public spectacle, and eventually a smelly disaster. So, how did a giant wheel of cheese end up stinking up the most powerful house in America? Let's peel back the rind on one of the weirdest events in U.S. presidential history. Our story begins in the early 1800s, a time when America was still young, wild, and full of big personalities, and few were bigger than President Andrew Jackson. A tough, controversial figure, Jackson saw himself as a champion of the common man. And thanks to a very devoted supporter, he was about to get a gift that matched his reputation for doing things unconventionally. Enter Elder John Leland. He was a Baptist preacher, an outspoken abolitionist, and a die-hard Jackson supporter. And like Jackson, Leland believed in making bold statements. So he decided to craft a gift. Not just any gift, but a massive wheel of cheese. How massive? Try over 1,400 pounds, made from the milk of 900 cows, all donated by patriotic farmers from Cheshire, Massachusetts. It was aged, pressed, packed, and proudly shipped to Washington, D.C. in 1835. Yes. They sent a giant cheese across state lines. With no refrigeration, you can already guess where this is going. Once it arrived, the cheese was placed on display in the White House foyer, not in a kitchen, not in storage. Front and center, a monument to democracy, dairy, and a bit of ego. It sat there for nearly 2 years. As you might imagine, the aroma grew, bold. Let's just say it wasn't exactly subtle. In 1837, as Jackson's presidency came to an end, he decided to finally serve the cheese to the public. He opened the White House doors and invited thousands of people to come in and help themselves. No guest list, no RSVPs, just come and eat the cheese. The crowd swarmed in, slicing, spreading, and devouring the famous cheddar. Within hours, it was gone. But the smell, that stuck around. White House staff reportedly had to scrub the floors for weeks. The odor lingered deep in the building's wood and upholstery, haunting the halls long after Jackson had left office. Even President Van Buren, who succeeded Jackson, complained about it. It wasn't just his snack. It was a statement. The cheese was a message to the American people that the White House belonged to them. Jackson wanted to show that power wasn't only for elites. If anything, the cheese was populism in edible form. And believe it or not, this bizarre cheese caper echoed into pop culture. In the TV series The West Wing, President Jed Bartlet revives the idea with a fictional big block of cheese day, where ordinary citizens get to pitch ideas to the White House. Yes, that episode was inspired by a real, smelly moment in U.S. history. So what do we take away from all this? That sometimes history isn't just made with speeches and laws. Sometimes it's made with cheese. From cows in Massachusetts to the marble floors of the White House, from a quirky preacher to the nose-wrinkling halls of power. This is one of those stories that's just too weird to forget, because in America, even a giant wheel of cheese can become a political legend. And that's Just great.